So, welcome to Beauty of Colors podcast, Nicole. It's great to have you on the show.
It's great to be here, Cleon. Thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. So, Nicole, tell the listeners about you and what is your story?
There's a long story, but we'll condense it on down. I I used to be a chemist, and I was leading a team in chemistry, and I was also the lead analyst on 5 different country campaigns across the world. And I ended up almost dying from mercury poisoning. So there was a whole different twist and turns of my life where I was in this position where I had a lot of control and things were in a flow and predictable. And, there's a lot of things that would happen that could easily create chaos, but I advanced my team in such a way within their mindset and conscious leadership that no matter what was thrown at us, we were super resilient and super focused. And we also had that overlap in all kinds of different expertises because we dealt with 8 different departments in pharmaceutical development. So when I ended up going through mercury poisoning, I didn't know what was happening. And just like anything creeps up on you in life, especially as a woman in a leadership position, I chalked it up to stress. And that's what most women will do in that position is, oh, it's just stress. Oh, I can deal with that later. Oh, my job is demanding. And there's all these different things because you have to show up and you have to do all these things for everyone else. And I wasn't fully in tune with my own self because I was so super focused on everyone else and the needs of the company and the needs of my family because I was the sole provider for a family of 6. And in that, everything gets stripped away from me because one day I woke up on the floor with my daughter pressing on my cheeks. She was 2 years old and saying, Mom, I'm thinking that I was playing with her, pretending to sleep. Wake up, Mom. And I look around and the milk that I remembered holding to pour into her cereal was lying next to me on the floor. And I realized after a year and a half of seeing doctors for various things that there was nobody else that was going to help me unless I helped myself. And because I was also very intuitive and did work for other people intuitively, I said, okay, I guess it's time for me to become my own client and go within. And I kind of locked myself in a room for a little bit and said, I'm not coming out of here until I really tap in and figure this thing out. And when I did, I started going over and reviewing all of the symptoms that I had over that past year and a half and scanning my body intuitively. And I kept hearing mercury. So when I called my doctor and said, this might sound weird, but I think I might have mercury poisoning. And he laughed at me. And after all these weird tests and walking around with apparatuses all over me and heart monitors and this monitor and this ultrasound and all the things, it was a simple blood test that I felt I had to beg for. And I was like, can you just amuse me with this one thing? I've done all these things. And then he was like, yeah, okay, Nicole, fine. So we get that done. And he had called me back, and his tone and his voice had completely changed. There's no more laughing. And he basically said, Nicole, you need to go see a specialist because I don't even know what to do with these results. So when I saw that heavy metal specialist, we did another test to confirm. And my results were, the doctor said, I can't believe that you're sitting here having a conversation with me right now. He was looking at me in awe. And at the time, the mercury had gotten so much to my brain that it was like I was a stroke victim and I could barely even speak. So I was stuttering. That's how I was talking. And it took a while for things to register with me when people would speak to me. So it was really hard to communicate by that time. And so I had said in my stuttery voice, you call this a conversation? And he said, well, let me put it into perspective for you. Most people with levels as high as you have are either vegetables or dead. And to hear that as a mom of 4, sole provider for your family, and, in this leadership role, also owning my own business at the time, because I was in that transition phase of building my business while I was leading a team. It was like, oh, my knee-jerk reaction, my personality came out, and I said, okay, well, that's not an option. So let's do this. What do we need to do? Let's do it. Let's go. And I started a long chelation process that, everything I felt was stripped from me, because Mad Hatter syndrome with the mercury going to my brain, I wasn't myself. I didn't act like myself. I just wasn't myself. So a lot of relationships were damaged or destroyed because I wasn't me. My financial situation went from a good place to a very bad place over the course of a year, because I had to liquidate a lot of retirement assets just to save my life. The first month cost me about $30,000, month 1. So it was like this, all of this stuff, I was pretty much burned down to the ashes, right? So in the alchemical process, the first is that calcination, where you are just burned to ashes. You're going through that dark night of the soul. And this was on a whole other level. And in those moments of really looking at where I was in my life, I was very grateful to be alive. So my mindset was mostly where it needed to be. I had that strength in my mind, because everywhere else felt completely shattered. And I've come to realize that through that process of being shattered, or feeling like your life is being shattered, like everything is coming down and crashing down around you, that's to rock and take out the foundations that really no longer serve you. Because it was then that I said, okay, we're not going to sit here feeling sorry for ourselves. We're going to sit here and we're going to find a way, because there's always a solution. And I allowed myself to surrender. And that's the big thing. We have resistance and we have surrender. And if we resist resistance, we just create more resistance, which creates more pain. But when we surrender, we open up to receive the solutions, the answers, the guidance, and the grace.
So, Nicole, you knew something was wrong with you when you decide to go into this room and stay there for a while and kind of figure things out. You knew that something was wrong.
Yes.
Okay. So you decide to take that step to go find out what is going on with you.
Yes,
Okay.
I had to.
Okay.
It was that point where I was relying on doctors before, because I wasn't a type of person that went to doctors frequently. I did my routine stuff, and I didn't go if, I coughed or I sneezed. And when things were happening, it was a progression. My hair was falling out at one point. I had different things that were happening. I was getting dizzy and passing out. I was going from, had very hypoglycemic fits, and all kinds of different things were happening. So it was like doctor after doctor after doctor, see the doctor. And everything that they said was, everything looks normal, Nicole. And it got to the point where whether it was just my perception or not, because of my own beliefs at that time, I felt like they were sitting there looking at me like, what are you, nuts? And I knew something was not right. So when I passed out and realized that had I died in that moment, my 2 youngest kids would have found me and had to live with that for their lives. And I was like, this is not going to happen. Not like this.
So, Nicole, you were exposed to to mercury where you worked, or what happened? Did it fall on you or something, or did you inhale it? What were you exposed to it in the environment?
This is a twofold factor, because what ended up happening was, yes, I had exposure.
Okay.
And how I will have to say it for here is, when after I left, because I was actually lumped into a layoff
Mm.
and cut from a project that I didn't even work on.
Okay.
So it seemed a little bit more like a political move
Okay.
because I did ask the
Mhm.
company to test for mercury in my office. But
Oh.
what I did find out afterwards was that um, the the room next door to my office used to be the old thermometer room.
Oh.
And there was a long period of time, month after month after month, that I felt very confused in my office, that I couldn't focus on my work, and I was having some trouble like with thinking, that I kept calling environmental health and safety within our company saying there's got to be some fumes coming in from the lab or something, because
Mhm.
something's not right in here. And they could never find anything because mercury vapors,
Yeah.
they're, colorless, odorless. You don't know that they're there. Silent killer.
Mhm. So did the other people you work with, they also got tested as well when you found out that you did have that mercury poison?
No. So the second part of that is, I also have a genetic mutation that I
Okay.
cannot process heavy metals. So
Oh.
they
Mhm.
don't come out of my body, they just build up. So a normal person could excrete the low levels, but over time, and it was over a few years of buildup, that it
Mhm.
ended up going to my brain.
Oh, okay, I got
Yeah.
you. Okay, because I was saying if everybody else is exposed, then they should find out and get tested and stuff like that. So, Nicole, what is the formula to say no to procrastination and to say hello to productivity?
So saying goodbye to procrastination and hello to productivity is really tapping into what it is that you are procrastinating from, and the fear or the belief that's behind that, because it's taking action, right? Even when I know that my mom growing up, we all used to not want to get ready for church. It was like too early or too this or whatever. And she used to say, usually when you have the resistance of something that you don't want to do, it's probably what you really need to do anyway. Right. And that kind of, I hear her in my voice sometimes with saying something like that, because it's so true. And really, it's about taking the action and getting over that that little challenge, that little hump that you think is so big. It's just a little hill. By taking the action, you usually find out that, once it's science, body in motion stays in motion. So you get going, and then it's, oh, this isn't so bad. It's like going to the gym. You don't want to go, you fight it because your beliefs say, I just want to be comfortable. I just want that comfort right now. I don't want to hurt later. Right. But then you go and you feel good because you get those endorphins going, and you feel good. Your body loves you, and your energy levels go up. So finding what it is that says that you can't or you shouldn't or you don't want to, and what you're leaning towards, it can be so silly when you actually break it down. And that's what it is about, really looking at the belief behind it that says and holds you back, that says no and holds you back.
So, Nicole, you said that you opened a business. What is your business about and what services do you offer? Um, where can the listeners get in touch with you? Are you a motivational speaker? Do you have any speaking engagements? And do you talk to people about chemistry, or is there, because you said you're into chemistry, or is there something else that you talk to people about when you do talk with them?
Great questions. Thank you. Really, I work with a lot of women in business, entrepreneurs, especially ones who are in that service-based industries or sales team leaders. And I do motivational speaking. I speak for different types of companies, so it's not just science. My background is in chemistry and science, so I do play around with some of those like chemical words, but they're always fun and easy to understand, so nothing crazy. A lot of people like me because I bring the science and the spiritual together. And it's more like that quantum physics of science and spiritual. And some of the things that I work with other people with are um, my favorite is we're always tearing apart the old belief system and building a new belief system that is supportive and pushing you, to be limitless, to be confident and courageous, to get rid of that procrastination and hone in on the productivity. Part of what I have found with working with my clients is they come to me because they've tried all this other stuff before and it doesn't work. And it's not like the other systems aren't good or don't work. It's their belief system does not allow them to get past what they need to do. So I hear time and time again, I know what I need to do. I just don't know why I'm not doing it. And it's not that they need hand holding either. Some feel like they do, but they really don't. And it's just taking away the beliefs that say, don't do this now because I don't feel safe or secure or loved or accepted or valued or all of these things that you go through. So I help people go through the process of really, especially at the beginning stages of business, set those foundations. And in that part, like setting those foundations that you already know you need to do, me taking you through that isn't the brunt of the work. My work is as we're going through that, what are your beliefs that are coming up? What are your thoughts and your feelings that say, oh, I'm not sure about this, or no, I don't want to do this right now, or hey, I really hate this part right now. But I show you how to flip it around and create a new belief system that helps you get through all of that, strips it away so that you can walk fearlessly, authentic, with integrity in your business and make the sales without being pushy or any of those things that you're so afraid that people are going to think and judge you on, because you will attract the people that actually belong to you in that vibrational state for
So,
what you do.
okay. So what's your website address?
It's magikllc.com, MAJIKLLC.com.
Okay. And Nicole, do you have a upcoming book pretty soon? Are you thinking of writing a book on your experiences, what you went through? Are you thinking about that or?
Yeah, I did write a chapter in a book called A Mile in Her Shoes,
Okay.
and it's a compilation anthology book. But I do have my book, like the full version, um, based off of my experiences, that'll be coming out whenever it comes out, because that's a work in progress right now.
Okay. Sounds good. So, Nicole, do you have any last words for the listeners about discovering their belief and not holding back?
Really it starts with the awareness. So having an awareness um, of what is happening within you. You don't have to really even hone in on the belief yet. Having the awareness that you have pain in some area, just like I said, resistance and pain. So where there's resistance, there's pain. Where there's pain, there's resistance. So where are you resisting whatever it is that you need to do to get past that? So when you look at what are the painful areas in your life, is it love? Is it money? Is it your career? What is it? Is it your self-care? Are you, basically abusing yourself to take care of other people? So you'll have that sort of pain. If you take a look at that and just ask a few simple questions on where is it sitting in your body, what does it feel like, and what is your brain telling you? What is the story that your brain is telling you? You can start to strip it down into what that belief actually is so we can debunk it and take it on out of there, switch it up.
Okay, Nicole, nicely said. Well, Nicole, thank you for being on Beauty of Colors podcast.
Thank you for having me. Thank you all for listening.